The Kansas City Chiefs this offseason continue to show us why they are going to three-peat next season. There has never been a team in NFL history to three-peat, and it has been over 20 years since there has been a team to enter a season with the opportunity to three-peat. This Chiefs team is now going to be that first team in over 20 years to enter a season with the opportunity to three-peat. So many people constantly want to downplay the Chiefs' success since they have been so successful, but what we are seeing from them has never been seen before. The Chiefs are making history and already have. The front office did all the right moves in the offseason to make sure this team was prepared for this three-peat opportunity. Most Super Bowl winning teams, especially ones that go back-to-back, lose a lot of key players. But fortunately for the Chiefs, they have one of the youngest starting lineups in the NFL, and most of them were acquired through the draft, so most of these players aren't going anywhere. The Chiefs have the best opportunity to three-peat because they retain the core pieces of this team and helped address the main concern, the offense. We are all aware that the Chiefs last season did not have the same offensive production that we have seen with Mahomes and the Chiefs recently. They led the league with 44 drops and weren't getting into the end zone, even struggling to score at all some games. We saw countless turnovers and pick sixes off drop passes and tipped catchable passes. Overall, as a whole, just did not perform well. We are all aware of that, and so is the front office. Thank God, though, that in the playoffs, they all decided to lock in and start catching the ball, but this recent playoff run for the Chiefs, nobody outside of Chiefs fans thought they were going out of the playoffs with the Super Bowl championship, let alone in the Super Bowl to begin with, and even the AFC championship game. No one thought the Chiefs were going to make it there either, but they showed everyone that experience at the highest stage of the game mattered, and when it comes down to preparation is what wins you games. We saw with the new overtime rules, the Chiefs have been preparing for moments like that all year, even in the offseason preparing for that, unlike the 49ers who were completely unaware. The Chiefs have so much young depth on this roster that is capable of filling in gaps when needed. The Chiefs needed to address the wide receiver room desperately, especially after releasing MVS and having no consistent receivers outside of Rashid and maybe Justin Watson, who would clutch up some games. The Chiefs were able to assemble the Legion of Zoom again this offseason by bringing in a guy they have been wanting for years in Hollywood Brown, but also adding, as we all know, the fastest player in NFL draft history, Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs desperately needed to give Mahomes some weapons this offseason, and they gave him a deep threat in both of those guys who are very quick and want to come into this offense and perform at a high level right away. We've seen all offseason Hollywood working out with Mahomes and with other players, but has been consistently working out. Other players all offseason have been working out as well, but Hollywood will be a key piece for this Chiefs three-peat. If there's anyone in the league who makes his receivers better, it's Patrick Mahomes, so he came to the perfect spot to elevate his game. Hopefully he performs like we all expect him to, and the Chiefs bring him back because he's on a one-year deal right now. The Chiefs brought back guys like Chris Jones and Drew Tranquill, which was a must-need, especially losing Willie Gay, but Drew has shown all season and especially in the playoffs that he wants to play in Kansas City, but also has shown why he deserves the extension, as he was one of the best linebackers on the team, filling in a huge gap when Nick Bolton was out. The Chiefs front office and general manager Brett Veach have shown every year that when they draft players and sign players that it's for a purpose and that they bring a unique talent. Brett Veach has now consistently drafted well for the Chiefs and has brought in some of their best talent on the roster. I see a lot of people in the media bring up that Travis Kelce is getting old and can't play like he used to, that the Rashee Rice situation will affect this team, and that the new receivers can't build rapport with Mahomes fast enough. There's so many different ways that the media is trying to bring down this Chiefs team, but those are the three main topics that people are loving to talk about. I believe all of those points are invalid. First, starting with the accusation of saying Kelce can't perform like he used to. Whoever's saying that, did you watch the playoffs? Travis Kelce just played some of his best football of his career in this past year's playoffs, but people are so worried that he was just shy of 1,000 receiving yards. Most tight ends don't even get anywhere near 1,000 receiving yards, so it's pretty impressive that he has set the bar for himself that high, breaking many records. It's so normal for us to see Kelce put up 1,000+ yards a season. Even when he's less than 100 yards away, it was such a big deal that he didn't get it to some people. I personally think, especially if the Chiefs go on to three-peat, that makes Kelce the best tight end ever. People are still trying to say Gronk is. I disagree with that. Kelce had 2 games in the regular season clearing 100 yards, almost 200 with 179 against the Chargers, but a lot close to it. He is still putting up some of the best numbers in his position. In the playoffs, he showed why he could still play at a high level in the biggest stage of the game by, in one of the coldest games in NFL history, putting up 10 receptions for 70 yards. The game against the Bills that everyone was so worried about because they were playing on the road in the the playoffs, something that they haven't done before, you know, since they always have the first seed in the AFC. He recorded 5 catches for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. The game against the Ravens went 11 for 11 on targets and catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. And then in the Super Bowl, leading the Chiefs offense with Mahomes down the field, making one of the biggest runs in the game down with seconds left in the fourth quarter. He put up 93 yards and 9 catches in the Super Bowl against what some would say was the best defense in the league. If you look at those stats in the playoffs against the top seed in the AFC and NFC, and like I said, what some would call the best defenses in the league, and then you say he can't perform at a high level still, I don't know what to tell you. Kelce doesn't have to break records in the regular season anymore. Teams were doubling and triple teaming him last season. He was barely able to get open, but now since the Chiefs offense has so many weapons, it will be different how teams will play against them. The Rashee Rice situation is very unfortunate, but in no way will affect this offense negatively unless he's suspended for the playoffs. But even if that happened, it wouldn't affect them negatively. If Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown can stay healthy, I fully expect them to perform at a high level. People are trying to say Xavier Worthy is too small and that he's only speed, but we are going to find out quickly that he can be physical as well. He can take hits and take pressure. Rashee was the best receiver for the Chiefs last season and stepped up towards the end of the regular season. He emerged as Mahomes' most reliable target with a ton of potential to develop into a key piece to this team. He still has a ton of potential, and yes, he made a mistake, but he should have the opportunity to show that he can learn from this mistake, just like all of us should be given that opportunity. It's unfortunate that he will be missing some games in the regular season, but the Chiefs offense is still so much better with just Xavier and Hollywood. Getting Rashee back later on in the season will just make this offense even better. To say that they won't build chemistry this offseason just doesn't even make sense. That's all they have been doing this offseason. You could even argue that last season in the regular season, the chemistry wasn't there, but this next season is going to be a fresh start with this new offense. This will be the best offense the Chiefs have had in the Mahomes era, I believe. Better than any offense with Tyreek. The Chiefs have the best team to three-peat, not just because of the upgraded offense, but because of the top-tier defense they have that is one of the youngest, but showed last season they can be the best in the league. They are going to continue to get better, led by the best defensive coordinator in the game, Steve Spagnuolo. They also have one of the best coaches ever, definitely the best in the game right now with Andy Reid, but it definitely helps when you have the most skilled and going to be the best quarterback we've ever seen. Giving him an offense like this with a strong offensive line and the defense they have is going to be a problem for the rest of the NFL. Like I said, they have such a strong offensive line, adding depth in the draft and showing even last year they have a strong unit. It's so important that Mahomes has the best offensive line possible. The Chiefs next season are going to prove a lot of haters wrong because it's so crazy they can go back to back with 2 mediocre teams, one that led the league in drop, win 2 Super Bowls, and still get a lot of criticism in the media. But next season, we will really see what's going to happen. If you made it this far and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and you turn on the notification bell so you never miss a Chiefs video or any video at all. Comment down below and if you think the Chiefs are going to three-peat and what you're looking forward to most for next season. Leave a like as well. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.